If you stand in Copy Square and look up, you'll see Boston's tallest building, the glassy tower most people still call the Hancock, now officially 200 Clarendon. It rises about 790 feet, which is about 3 Statues of Liberty stacked on top of each other, and when it opened in the 1970s, it became the tallest building in all of New England. Nearly 50 years later, it still is. Chicago's Willis Tower tops 1,400 feet. Los Angeles has the 1,100-foot Wilshire Grand. Even Oklahoma City's Devon Tower is taller than anything in Boston. For a city with more than 670,000 residents and a booming economy, Boston's skyline is surprisingly short. So why can't, or why won't, Boston build taller? The answer involves angry neighbors in the 1890s, airplanes, park shadows, and a fight over what kind of city Boston should become. Picture this. It's 1894 and a 125-foot apartment building called the Haddon Hall goes up on Berkeley Street in Back Bay. 125 feet sounds tiny. That's only about 12 stories or so. But to Boston's wealthy neighbors, it was a monster blocking their sunlight. They were furious. Almost immediately, residents pushed the city to cap new Back Bay buildings at just 70 feet, and the city listened. That early backlash set the tone for Boston's growth. For much of the early 20th century, zoning rules kept downtown Boston under 125 feet. Boston's elite saw the tall buildings as threats, not just to their sunlight and views, but to their control over the neighborhood's character and property values. For them, skyscrapers represented the kind of speculative, profit-driven chaos they associated with cities like New York. And so Boston's narrow streets and modest-scale neighborhoods became part of what made the city feel unique. Many residents still believe that character is worth protecting. Fast forward to today. 3 big restrictions now enforce these low limits over Boston. The first one, Logan Airport. It sits just 2 miles across the harbor from downtown, close enough that planes taking off and landing fly directly over the city. To keep those planes safe, the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, sets strict limits on how tall buildings can be in different parts of Boston. Think of it as like an invisible dome over downtown. In the financial district, buildings can't go higher than about 600 to 800 feet. The second thing, did you know that Massachusetts has something called shadow laws? The state officially protects Boston Commons and the public garden from new shadows. If a building were to cast shade on those parks for more than an hour after sunrise or before sunset, it cannot be built. Even if the FAA approves of it, shadow laws can still kill a project. And third, local zoning and historic districts. Neighborhoods like the South End cap new construction at 70 feet to match the old Cornice lines. Across downtown, zoning varies widely, 100 feet near the Common and up to 650 feet in parts of the financial district. It's a patchwork, and most of it keeps things low by design. Here's where it gets a little messy. Boston faces a serious housing shortage, and in September 2025, the city approved the new plan called Plan Downtown that will allow residential towers up to 700 feet near transit hubs like North Station. Supporters say this is urgent. Taller buildings downtown mean more housing units, more tax revenue, more economic competitiveness. If we don't grow up, we will fall behind. But critics are calling it Manhattanization. Preservation groups and neighborhood activists worry that 60 to 70-story luxury towers will destroy Boston's historic character and cast new shadows over the parks. Some city councilors say that the planning process was rushed and community voices were ignored. And here's the uncomfortable question underneath all of it. Who actually benefits from these towers? Many of the tallest recent buildings, like the Millennium Tower and One Dalton, are luxury developments with condos selling for millions. In neighborhoods like Chinatown, residents and small businesses are already worried that rising property values from new towers could push them out. The people are concerned. Will new height limits create affordable housing or just more luxury real estate? So when you look at Boston's skyline, you're not just seeing buildings. You're seeing the result of all these forces colliding. A century of neighbors fighting for sunlight, FAA flight ceilings, shadow laws protecting the common, and now a city trying to figure out whether growing upwards will solve its housing crisis or just make it worse. There is no easy answer, but one thing is clear. Every new tower that goes up or gets blocked is a choice about what kind of city Boston will become.